Opening my tea party just for you. Who is that? It's Ririna, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. It's time to check out Ominous Cross. No, I'm not really sure what this one's about, but it seems to be a boss rapture, perhaps. But either way, I'm looking forward to it since everyone recommended it so much. So let's get started. Wow, that is a strong start. Wait a second, that looks oddly familiar. Oh, the choir. It seems like whatever this boss rapture is, if it even is it? I think it is. But it seems to be very powerful with the whole choir, with the intensity from the start, with the drums. Seems to be a slower part here, but it builds up. Oh. There's like a switch. Did you hear it? Another switch here. And it's much slower, more tragic sounding, more drama. It's almost overwhelming to listen to. I think it has some elements of dubstep, right? Usually when you think of dubstep, it would be some kind of like battle, like AMVs and stuff, where there's like so much chaos going on with fights and maybe dramatic moments. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting with this one. A lot quieter here. But there's a build up again with the drums. There we go. And then slow again. There's like so many switches and tones and stages in here. I don't know if I could call it stages because I'm not really referring to like a boss stage, even though I know apparently they like have a second stage that's not really animated, if I can call it that. I'm pretty sure this particular song is actually maybe the rapture itself, not really the commander. I feel like the ones with lyrics tends to be in the point of view of the commander and the Nikkes that we have that are with us. But when it's not, it just feels like it's actually for the rapture or the boss. I assume it's a rapture considering what I'm seeing here. Yeah, it looks like a rapture. Well, it kind of looks familiar. I don't know if I just recently encountered it. I just can't remember at the top of my head or something else. Either way, I do want to go back to the beginning and we'll go through it together. So in the beginning, you can obviously tell that there's some kind of buildup happening, but it's also very strong in the beginning. So clearly it's an overwhelming force right from the start, and it's supposed to intimidate you with how much layers of instruments that are used and the music and the volume itself. So very strong introduction. I'm not really sure if the actual, like within the story, that it does have a strong introduction, but at least music wise, it's a very strong introduction compared to other ones that I've listened to so far from Nikke. I feel like with the choir, you know, the dun 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 dun. I can't really sing, whatever. You get the point. But either way, that choir part, that specific choir part, it gives me the feeling that there's something holy about this particular either stage or the monster itself, or rapture, or whatever it is, or just the situation going on. There's some kind of powerful force, whether it's holy, whether it's godly, I'm not really sure, spiritual, I'm not really sure actually, but it does have that aspect to it. So I do wonder if this particular rapture is actually, I assume, this is my assumption, and I think it was confirmed recently, like I think whatever is closest to the queen, I think that's what it was, I think that's what it was called. Whatever is closest to the queen though is obviously more powerful, and so I think this particular one is actually close to the queen, which is why it has that holy, godly aspect to show off its power. But obviously, because it's mechanical, it does feel like there are a lot more machinery involved, which is why it's obviously a rapture, and why I feel like the dubstep really fits in with this particular monster compared to like a monster that's not really made out of metal. And so I did notice that there are a couple of switches. One is the really intense beginning, and then it switches to like this really short transitional period where it's less instruments and chaos in the sound, but there's a build-up. I think the build-up is mostly the drums, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna have to like listen just to make sure. But the build-up is really quick, and then it just like automatically hurries up and goes to that intense, strong, I am powerful kind of sound. Right here, right here. Right here, right here. Yes, right here, right here. Yeah, there we go. It's a very short period of time in the song. And they do this several times through. I think they did it 3 times, or maybe it's 2. And then here we go. There's like this really slow part, like an actual, like after the intense part where it's like dun 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 dun. It like slows down and is super gentle, almost tragic, sweet, human-like. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but there's less dubstep, there's less chaos within the music, and you can hear the melody a lot clearer. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the beginning, the really intense parts tend to be very chaotic to listen to. It's almost overwhelming, and it's kind of hard to hear and know what to focus on because everything's so loud. Like there's no one instrument that's super prominent, except maybe the dubstep part. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not really sure actually. But either way, this slow part really makes me wonder if there's something human-like about this rapture or boss monster, and it's being showcased through this. Since I know Chatterbox kind of has a humanistic sort of aspect where he can talk, but maybe this one also has kind of something similar. And it's just the tragedy, the way that I don't know if this song is in the minor key or if it's in the major key. It sounds like it's in the minor key actually, because it sounds so tragic and sad, but also very human-like. But either way, regardless of what key it's in, I do think though that it's showing the more human aspects of this battle, whether it's like a tragedy or something else. Of course, don't give me spoilers. You can say if I'm right or wrong, but just don't give me spoilers. Thankfully, everyone has been pretty good about that, but just making sure. Oh, I just realized, at first I thought it was a string instrument, but I just realized it's actually a choir that's actually singing the melody. Or maybe that's right now rather than the previous part that I was listening to. But it's choir. It just makes me even more certain that it's focused on the tragic aspects of this battle and the more human aspects of this battle. So the emotional pain, the sadness, the anger, whatever it is, that kind of stuff. I don't think it's anger, but it seems more sad, if anything. And now it's gone back to the really intense part. And you can kind of hear the buildup at that moment too. Before it led to the dun 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 dun, that part, it almost feels like whatever happened, they either one gave up, two had a change in mindset, or three something happened. And I'm not really sure which one of the three it is, or if it's all three, but clearly the fight will continue on. And that moment of solace, that moment of tragedy is over, and it's time for the battle to continue. It feels almost very cold because there's the choir, but then the dubstep is a lot more, what's the word? In the front, focused. Yeah, it's definitely more prominent compared to the choir, but then previously the choir, the melody was a lot more prominent, and now it's lost that human aspect, that tragedy, the emotions, and it just feels very cold, like the battle that it is. So before the slow part, there was actually a moment where the choir was just as loud as the dubstep part, and it made it very uncanny. Like it was very difficult to listen to, not because it's hard to hear, but rather because it was so chaotic that it made it painful to listen to almost. So it's almost like there are two sides fighting, either the good or the bad. And I'm not sure if this particular rapture has like a human aspect to them, but clearly there's something that's fighting each other, whether it's the good part of them and the bad, which is the majority. And that moment feels like the battle. And then this particular slow part feels like the end, the resting point, where they're kind of agreeing to tie, have a tie, winning wise, or at least some kind of peace treaty between the two for now, temporarily to rest. But then the battle starts to begin. Right here. It seems like the more human aspect has lost, which is why the dubstep part, the non-singing parts, are a lot more prominent and stronger. And now we have that. Okay, so it is strings first, and then it switches to choir eventually, or becomes a lot louder. So the more human aspect has won in this area, in this part of the stage. And obviously that's the end, and it'll continue to move forward. But it seems like there's an endless cycle of fighting, whether it's humans versus raptures, or good versus bad. Like I said, I'm not really sure if this particular, I'm pretty sure the song is focused on the boss monster, in this case, the rapture. But I'm not entirely sure if that's really the case though, because raptures aren't really like humans, so I could just be interpreting it wrong because I don't have that one key context. But assuming that a rapture can potentially have a human aspect to them, then I do feel as though this particular rapture is having trouble deciding on who they want to be, whether it's to be more human-like or to be the rapture that they are. But I don't know why this really looks familiar though. I just can't recall where I saw. Did I finish a boss stage that looks like this? Might have actually. I just can't remember where and when. But do let me know down below if it's something I encountered or not. I think I finished chapter 7? Or maybe not chapter 7, 6? No, 8? No, I'm pretty sure I'm past that. I don't remember which part I'm on. Because right now I'm completing or going through Overzone. So that's what I'm more focused on. But if you did watch and catch my streams, then do let me know if this one is something I've already encountered or if I have yet to encounter it. So in any case, my kids, what do you think of today's video? I have reacted to Ominous Cross and, you know, analyzed it to the best of my abilities. And so let's etch this entire memory and keep it safe. And as always, firmly inviting you to the next tea party, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. Who's that? This was Ririna. So until the next one then. Bye!